Hi there, we're in the Performance Centre at Howley Hall Golf Club, which can only mean one thing. We're testing some new clubs. Today, it's the Cobra King SZ Hybrids. Hi there, Ryan Rastell here for Golfshake.com, a PGA professional here at Howley Hall Golf Club in Leeds and equipment expert for Golfshake as well. And remember, if you haven't already done so, we've got loads more content. Hit the subscribe button. You'll see loads more about the latest golf clubs to help you play more and play better. So let's go straight into the technology with these hybrids. Now, a bit of a continuance from last year's F9, which was very popular. So the Speedzone is really about getting the center of gravity right in order for you to increase distance and forgiveness, right? So the way that this is done is by moving the weight further back in the head, lower down, to really achieve those launch conditions that we're looking for. The split rail design, something that people have associated with Cobra for a long time in the old Baffler golf clubs that were out. And this is really to help with two things: turf interaction, so it keeps the head nice and square through the turf, but also it allows them to lower the CG even more, so help you to get that ball airborne and get a better launch and slightly more forgiveness as well. So the SZ Hybrid, it comes in like a matte finish, but also like everything in Cobra, we've got a one length option and we've got a variable. So we're going to test them both here on the TrackMan. So we've got TrackMan 4 using Titleist Pro V1 golf ball. We're going to see how they perform. The ones we've got here today are both 21 degree, like I say, in one length and in variable. So let's have a look at them and see how they go. So initially, we're going to start with the one length, okay? Now, this is a golf club that I think people either love or hate in one length, particularly in a hybrid, because it does kind of look like you're using a junior golf club when you sit it down. But having had one of these myself and played with it, once you get used to it, they're so easy to hit. With them being the length of your typical 7-iron, they just feel so easy to use, basically. I mean, hybrids sometimes with the shafts getting longer and longer and longer can be quite difficult to strike the middle of the face. But these one length ones tend to be a little bit easier. So let's hit a few shots with it and see how it performs. So behind the ball, like I say, that matte finish with the white logo on the top, the new Cobra logo on there, which looks really cool. We've got a little bit of white around the perimeter of the golf club as well, which frames it quite nicely. So let's hit a few shots and see how it goes. Like I say, behind the ball, I think it looks really good. It certainly sounds nice and solid off the club head as well. Like all Cobra clubs do, a standard now, slightly thicker grip, but also with connect in the top. And we all know how good that is when we're tracking our game and being able to look at how each club is performing in the bag. So that slightly thicker grip feels really good. It feels really solid, feels really good off the face. Even though, like I say, it's shorter than a hybrid would be traditionally, we're still getting, that's gone 208 yards, which is, if I was hitting a 4-iron or a 3-iron, it's about my 4-iron distance anyway. So I'm not losing any distance with it being one length, which a lot of people assume will happen. Again, it just feels really good. Nice and solid off the head. A little bit shorter, a bit out the toe, that one. But, I just think it's easy to hit and it's quite forgiving. So let's just hit one more. A bit better strike, that one. You can see, yeah, with 205 carry, 213 total. Again, great golf club, easy to use. And I think for those players as well, round the greens when you're doing like little chip and run shots and stuff, a one length hybrid like this is so easy to do that, because obviously it's 7-iron length. You're almost doing a little putting stroke with it, so it's really, really easy to use. So let's go on to the variable length and see how that compares. Now, it looks slightly different behind the ball, purely because of the paint job. So it's a little bit different. It's still matte in terms of the black finish on the top, but as you can see, we've got a yellow Cobra logo and yellow around the outside, which is obviously the Cobra colours with the Speedzone franchise there. So looks really good. Like I say, obviously completely different in terms of the feel already because of the extra length in the shaft, but we'll have a bit of a hit with it and see how that performs as well. Feels nice and solid, just like the one length one did. Obviously that shaft is that little bit longer, which, you know, is not a bad thing. Getting a little bit more speed with it. But interestingly enough, the distance really isn't that much different. That one a little bit better, but yeah, feels very similar. I would say the one length one is a little bit easier to be more consistent with, but in terms of the feel off the club face and in terms of how the balls are responding off it, I think they're very, very similar. So we'll take a quick look at the numbers on the track mount and see how they perform against each other. So if we take a quick look at the shots we've hit with each, we can see with the one length, slightly lower flight, compared to the variable. I would, you know, that has to be down to length of shaft. So generally when I found using lower lofted clubs in one length, they tend to come out a little bit flatter in terms of flight, which I quite like, because with variable length stuff, for me, when I get to the top end of the set, so you 3-iron, 4-iron, 5-iron, I tend to launch them very high and they tend to bunch up distance-wise a bit. With one length, it tends to sort of stretch those out a little bit for me again. Yes, the club head speed is ever so slightly less, which by about 3-4 miles an hour, but the distance is very similar. On here, the variable length hybrid is about 5 yards longer than the one length, so it's negligible really. There's not that much of a difference. Both felt very good. If I was going to have to pick one in terms of the consistency, I'd probably go with one length, just because every shot I hit with it seemed to come out very similar. Do you know what I mean? And with it being shorter, it was easier to strike the middle of the face, and I think that is a concern as well when we're using golf clubs and we're not striking them out the middle all the time. We're obviously going to get some big variance in distance and direction. So if we've got something there in one length technology that's helping you to strike the ball out the centre more consistently, which it should do with that shorter shaft, then we should start seeing some of the results be a little bit more consistent too. But both really, really good. They look great behind the ball. Certainly a step on again from what we saw in F9. The CG location's obviously been tinkered around with, and the spin that I've seen here is lower than when I tried F9 last year. So they've really thought about that and getting the ball flight slightly better, and more penetrating really. So definitely we can see that on the numbers on the TrackMan there. But I think looks wise, they're great behind the ball. That matte paint finish looks really cool, and the new logo with the Cobra stamp on there looks really good as well. Definitely something you should try, but as I always say, go and get fitted properly and get the one that's going to help you play better. So there we have it. That's our look at the new SZ or SZ hybrid from Cobra. Hope you enjoyed the video. Is this a hybrid you're going to go out and try? Is one length something you've been thinking about? Please put it in the comments section below. We'll try our best to answer all of them. Hope you enjoyed the video and see you all very soon.